Hello, everyone. We are from CANUS Immigration, and today in this video, we'll discuss if getting the Canadian prairie in 2021 actually worth it or not, after COVID times have changed a lot. So it will be very interesting to discuss this from different aspects of life. Like you're living away from your friends and family. What about the future for children? What about the health and safety? We'll also talk about different other aspects, like ease of life and quality of life and various other aspects as well. So what should we expect from this video? I don't say that by the end of this video. I'll give you an answer in yes or no that yes, it is totally worth it. Or no, it's not worth it. I will leave the decision to you. I'll discuss various points because each point may have different weightings for different people. So it would ultimately be on you to decide, will it actually be worth it or not? I'll share my personal views. And I'll leave it to you to decide if it is actually worth to get declared in PR in 2021 or not. Many of you who might be working for some MNC is getting really good salaries, or maybe doing your own business, which is doing really well. And you're well settled in the home country, but you still want to move to Canada. So all the efforts, all the money, all the time that they're going to put in starting your life right from scratch here in Canada, is it actually worth it in 2021? Well, okay, just a quick disclaimer, this video is needed to motivate you to immigrate to Canada, not to demotivate you not to immigrate to Canada. Basically, I'm just trying to tell you a few points based on which you can actually make your own judgment. And all the points that we'll discuss in this video are basically from the personal experiences of my friends, family, known ones and myself as well. So starting with the first point, which is living away from your family, friends, relatives, and loved ones. So this point is for those for whom family is first. Okay, now this pandemic has changed everything. Earlier, if something used to happen, we used to think that okay, I wouldn't be there in my home country just for reference, because my home country is India. So I'm considering India here. I will say that, okay, I'll be there in 13-14 hours. That's the time a direct flight actually takes. But this pandemic has changed it. It's not possible for me to travel to India so easily. Now, the last time I met my parents was in March 2019, exactly 2 years ago. We booked the tickets for April 2020. But you know what happened? But I'm in a much better situation. And I cannot complain because I know someone whose brother actually passed away, and he could not reach in time to attend this funeral. I also know a friend whose kid is now 1 year old and hasn't seen any family member apart from his parents. Think that person who could not attend his brother's funeral and was not with his family during the tough times. Or that pregnant woman who could not get the support of his family before or after the birth of a child. Do you think that? Do they actually care about PR or citizenship? All they need is their family. So yes, this point is for all those people who give their family the utmost importance. Okay, I know that you're going to say that these are extraordinary conditions. And we've never seen situations like these before. And this pandemic is going to get over soon, maybe by the end of this year, or maybe next year sometime, because we're all getting vaccinated sometime or the other. But what I feel is that this pandemic has given us a new perspective to view things differently. Earlier, we were used to travel to, our home countries so frequently so easily. But now it is not possible anymore. You don't know how long is this thing going to last? Or if you're going to see any other pandemic in the future or what's going to be the situation in the future. So I would say that if your family is living with you, or maybe you have your parents or other loved ones who can live with you in Canada, then it is totally fine. It is totally worth it. What if you have some people who cannot live with you permanently? No, with parents, it gets difficult that they cannot live with you permanently at times. Maybe your grandparents cannot come live with you. It might be a lot difficult for you because conditions are not all the same. But again, this is my personal view. I would request anyone who is watching this video, and who is living in Canada and facing these kinds of concerns, I would request you to please put your view down in the comment section below so that others can also benefit from it. Okay, now talking about the second point, the quality and ease of life. Of course, Canada offers you great quality of life. This is a reason why most of the people actually immigrate to Canada. When you ask people about it, they say that we moved here for a better quality of life than our home country. Of course, it's a developed nation. So you would never find those problems of power cuts, or, the roads are not proper, infrastructure is top-notch. He will never find those problems here in Canada. Okay, now talking about the ease of life. Let's say you have some work in a bank or in a government office, you're sure that your things will get done. And your work would be completed after the necessary formalities, unlike, let's say, an Indian government office where you have to go around to get the things done. Or maybe they expecting that you would bribe them to get the things done. So that is certainly not going to happen here in Canada. But apart from that, talking about the regular day-to-day activities, I often say about it, and people criticize me about it, that life in India is much more easier. When you talk about the day-to-day course. Because when you are here, we cannot afford servants. People often complain that they don't have time because they have to do all the daily chores by themselves, washing dishes, washing their clothes, cleaning their homes. All of those things, obviously know that, we have to do on our own. But while you're in your home country, let's say India, you have that leverage, you have that facility that you can actually get made to work for you. I know. Now there are differences. But yes, it is a fact that we love that comfort. I'm sure you will remember those times from 1 year ago when we were in a lockdown. And we have to do all those things by ourselves. It was so difficult, isn't it? So that difficulty you face every day here in Canada. So I would say that, in that sense, it is quite difficult to live here in Canada, in whether you have a permanent residency in a student visa, or you have the Canadian citizenship. If you only really, really get money, then yes, you can afford people who can come and cook for you. Or maybe you can actually come to your house, maybe weekly, not all daily, but at least weekly, to clean your house. But apart from that, it would be slightly difficult. Right, talking about the next point, which is our health and safety. Okay, let me talk about the safety part first, and then we'll talk about the health part as well. Now, staying in Canada, you will feel a lot safer. I mean to say that in midnight, even if you are actually going through a deserted place, you won't feel that insecurity. You will still feel safe because you know that, if you're in any trouble, you can just call 911 and the security services would be there pretty soon. Also, for women, it is a lot safer. You can work for different kinds of jobs, like you can work in factories, you can work in food outlets, you can work as an Uber driver, as a truck driver, or a food delivery person. I'm telling you about these jobs because generally you won't find women actually working for these jobs in India because it is a lot safer here. You would not feel that kind of discomfort, or you won't feel unsafe to go out at midnight. So those all things are fantabulous, so it is totally worth it. If you are here, on whichever visa, if you're in PRFM, citizenship or study visa or work visa. Now coming over to the health services, as you might know that Canada does have provincial health plans. So which means that if you are a permanent resident or a citizen, then you do have your health services totally free of cost. So you can actually go to a doctor, get your test done, you can get hospitalized and come out of it without even paying a single penny. So that is actually great. May God forbid, if you actually suffer through a heart attack, and someone calls 911, no ambulance, paramedics would be here in a few minutes only. And you'd be given the emergency care as well. Now, putting on the emergency care, I remember a very specific incident when one of my friend a couple of years ago actually had this pain of kidney stone. So some of you might know who has been through that pain, that it is a very acute pain. So the first time when he actually experienced that pain, we will not show that what has happened. So we took him to the hospital. And would you believe that he had to wait 3 hours outside the emergency ward? He was just given a painkiller by the nurse. And he was just laying there in pain for 3 hours outside the emergency ward. And then after he was taken inside, he was given a bed 3 more hours before a doctor could actually attend him and get his tests done. Okay, so it was all free. But the thing is that that wait was really horrible for us who would try to take care of him. And of course, for the patient who was actually screaming in pain at times. But let's say if you are in India, and you face such a problem or such an illness, you can immediately go to a doctor and you will be provided emergency care. Probably in 5 to 6 hours, you'd be back in your home, after all the tests on all the medications, as well as you'd have to pay maybe a hefty amount of money for that. But you would get that emergency care very easily. So because it is free, not just for you, but for everyone. So you'll always find lines, in the clinics, in hospitals, and in labs as well. So the pro is that medical services are top-notch and is free. But the con is that if you're in a situation, like my friend was, you will feel that I need the medical services urgently. Instead of waiting. It would be better if I was in India or back home and in the country. And I would get it pretty soon instead of the long queues. Okay. And this brings me into the last point, which is education and the future of your children. After securing a permanent residency, many of us move to Canada. While we're about to get married, we're already married, sometimes we have kids. So for all of those people, we are very concerned about the future of our children. So no doubts about it, Canadian education system is really great. You would be glad to know that your kids can actually go to public schools, and you don't have to pay any fee. So we know that in order to get admissions in good primary schools, we have to give donations, we have to go through the interview process. It's very difficult nowadays. But thankfully, here, you don't have to face all those troubles. And it's also free of cost. So your kid will actually get great education and that too free of cost. So which is really great. And also, as the kid grows older, the career opportunities are massive. They can go for filmmaking, they can go for photography, they can go for martial arts, they can go for any sports, they can go for a dentist, engineer, doctor, whatever they actually want to be, there's no stopping, and there are ample opportunities for that. You will get great education, you'll also get great training wherever your kid actually finds interest. So from that perspective, Kinde is actually great because your kid actually grows out to become a great professional. Because all those education, those trainings can be provided while kids are actually in school or in college. So that is really great. Okay, apart from that, there's one little concern I'm not sure, because that's my personal thought, if I should share that on camera or not, but because you are my YouTube family, I want to talk about it. So let's just talk about it in just next 1 minute. Many times we have seen that parents are actually scared to shout at the kids or hit the kids. No, of course hitting is not right. But even when, let's say, your kid is coming late from a party or something, or doing something which you don't like, and you shout at your kids, they tend to threaten you at times that they will call 911. And, of course, you certainly don't want police to enter your household. Just because your kid does not like that you're shouting at them, or you're hitting them or whatever. I don't have kids, but I still have that Indian culture within me, where we are taught to treat our parents, elders and loved ones with a lot of respect. So if a kid actually, turns over to his parent, threatening that they would call 911 if they shout at them or something like that, I personally don't like it. But that's again my personal thought. You might not want to give much weightage to this point. So I would say that overall, for kids, for your children, for the future, Canada is a great place. Okay, guys, this is it. Those were all the points that I wanted to discuss today. As I told you, towards the end of this video, I will not tell you that, okay, Canada Prairie is totally worth it or no kind of PR isn't worth it. I will leave that decision to you. If you actually feel that it is worth it, you should definitely go for it. I make videos to help you guys to immigrate to Canada, but also if you feel otherwise, I hope that you will not feel sad that you could not immigrate to Canada. You have a good life there in your home country as well. Thanks a lot for watching this video.